never, never change. Picture this scene for me, if you will. It's a miserable, freezing cold, gray, somber day in the very worst part of downtown Cleveland, Ohio. And leaning up against a pawn shop window to protect himself against the driving rain was a bum, a 35-year-old bum. No coat to protect him, shirt hanging out, hair down to his shoulders, bloodshot eyes. And he was afraid, and he was alone, and he was about as low as anybody can get. And all of a sudden, something inside the pawn shop on a shelf caught his eye. It was a little handgun. And attached to the handgun was a yellow tag, 29 bucks. And he reached into his pocket and he pulled out 3 soggy $10 bills. It's all he had in the world. And he thought, hey, there's the answer to all my problems. I'll buy that gun. I'll get a couple of bullets. I'll take them back to that mangy room where I'm staying. I'll put the bullets in the gun. I'll put the gun to my head. And I'll pull the trigger. And then never again will I ever have to face that miserable failure in the mirror. That man had indeed been a failure. He had managed in just a few short years to lose everything in life that was important to him. A lovely wife, a beautiful daughter, a nice home, a promising job, and all his faith, and all his hope, and all his self-esteem. He had tried to play the game of life like so many of us do, without taking the time to learn the rules. And now he was paying the price for his ignorance on that miserable, gray, cold morning in Cleveland, Ohio. He was just about ready to throw his life away. That scenario, I'm sorry to say, is repeated hundreds of times every day in this lovely country of ours, when people finally lose all hope in a future that once was so bright and so full of hope. And you know, that doesn't count the thousands who don't take their life, but they just give up. They quit. They stop trying. And they lead what Henry David Thoreau once called lives of quiet desperation. They're dead at 30 or 35 or 40, even though we won't get around to burying them until they're 72. Fortunately, that miserable wretch, that loser, that bum, standing in the cold rain, didn't buy that gun. He didn't blow his life away on that terrible morning almost 35 years ago. Because if he had, I wouldn't be here with you tonight. I guess it's natural, and I expect it, that whenever I'm being interviewed on radio or television or by the press, I'm always being asked, how did you manage to turn your life around so dramatically? And what did you do that raised you from the gutter to the presidency of Success Unlimited magazine in less than 10 years? And where did you, such a loser with only a high school education, get all the wisdom and the knowledge to write all those best-selling books? And what secrets of success? You see, they insist on calling them secrets. Did you learn that you could share with others who are looking for some answers on how to turn their life around? Well, I usually reply that everything I learned is in my books. But I won't do that to you. I didn't come 1,200 miles to tease you or to play games with you tonight. You see, I know from past experience, that in every audience, even this one, whether they be famous top executives, salespeople, athletes, students, small business owners, but in every audience, there is always someone out there who feels the walls closing in and who may be smiling on the outside right now, tonight, and yet they're dying on the inside. And they might be even just about ready to give up on life, as I was long ago. And that person is out there somewhere silently hoping or silently praying that something I might say or something I might do might be just the life preserver that he or she needs to keep from drowning in a sea of misery. What are we doing to ourselves? The number of heroin, cocaine, and crack addicts is growing so swiftly each day that we have finally admitted we can no longer keep anywhere near an accurate count. Did you know we're consuming more booze now per capita than any time in the history of the United States? How's this for a number? Last year, in this wonderful, gorgeous country of ours, more than 300,000 people tried to commit suicide. That's a city. They're prescribing 5 million prescriptions for Valium every 30 days. And we're now treating more than 4,000 new cases of mental illness every 24 hours. Think about that one. There must be a better way to live. And there is a better way to live. And Mr. X or Ms. X, wherever you are out there, I'm going to toss out some life preservers for you. And let's see what happens. The most important secret of success that I had to learn the hard way is that life is a game. It's spiritual and it's holy, but it's a game. And you can't play in that game with any chance at all of winning unless you know the rules. Slight problem. While we were growing up, nobody ever taught us any of the rules. Not once. Not for 45 minutes did anybody ever teach us how to set goals, how to motivate ourselves and others, how to handle adversity when it hits us, how to use our time profitably, how to get rid of the bad habits that we acquire, how to accumulate wealth, how to handle stress, and so much more. And so most of us become spectators in the greatest game of all, pushed aside by the lucky few who seem to know what they want, and more important, who seem to know how to get it. The pros, the great performers, those who know the rules, they're all down on the field where all the action, all the glory, and all the money is. And the rest of us, we're up in the bleachers watching them, and we had to pay to get in. Okay, let's take inventory. Did we possibly learn anything during all those years of schooling that we could apply, that we could use starting tomorrow morning if we wanted to make a real move at changing our life for the better, even better than it is? You bet we did. We all learned how to read with that one great ability that all of you have, the ability to read. You can work miracles in your life. Carlyle, many years ago, wrote, "What we become depends on what we read after all the professors have finished with us." The greatest university of all, he wrote, is a collection of books.